arranged like this are called perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are lines that form square corners when they intersect. And these square corner angles have a special name in geometry because they're really important. We call them right angles. There's even a special symbol that we use to show when an angle is a right angle. Because they form square corners, we use a little square instead of the arc that we use for the other angles. So whenever you see this symbol, you know that the angle you're looking at is a right angle, and that the lines that form it are perpendicular. Okay, now that you know what a right angle is, let's look at a simple one that's made from just two rays. What will happen if we take the ray pointing up and rotate it like the hand of a clock, a little bit to the right, a little bit clockwise? Well, we don't have a right angle anymore because the rays are no longer perpendicular. Instead, we have an angle that's smaller or less than a right angle. Angles that are less than right angles are called acute angles. On the other hand, if we rotated our ray to the left instead of the right, we would get an angle that's bigger or greater than a right angle. Angles that are greater than right angles are called obtuse angles. So there are three main kinds of angles that you need to know about: right angles, acute angles, and obtuse angles. Well, actually, there's one more type of angle that's pretty important, but it's kind of a strange one. It's called a straight angle. A straight angle is just what we get when we rotate our rays so that they point in exactly opposite directions. The result looks just like a straight line, which is why it's called a straight angle. Alright then, there's just a few more important geometry terms that we need to learn in this video. Let's look at our simple right angle again that's made from two rays. But this time, let's draw a third ray that cuts that right angle into two smaller parts. Now because the angle that we divided up was a right angle, we know that the two smaller angles combine to form a right angle. And in geometry, any two angles that combine to form a right angle are called complementary angles. And we can do the same thing with a straight angle. If we take a straight angle made from two rays and divide it with a third ray, two new smaller angles are formed. And those two angles combine to form a straight angle. We call these angles supplementary angles. So complementary angles combine to form a right angle, and supplementary angles combine to form a straight angle. All right. That's all we're going to learn about angles in this video. And if you're new to geometry, it might seem like a lot. So let's do a quick review of all the new geometry words we've learned. Lines that point in exactly the same direction will never cross and are called parallel lines. When lines do cross, they cross at a point called an intersection. Lines that intersect form angles. You can think of angles as the spaces between the lines. Angles can be named by the points that form them. Just like connect the dots. An arc is a part of a circle. Arcs can be used to represent an angle between two intersecting lines. When intersecting lines form all exactly equal angles, the lines are perpendicular. Perpendicular lines form right angles. Right angles are square corners, and we use a special square symbol to show that an angle is a right angle. An angle that's smaller or less than a right angle is called an acute angle. An angle that's bigger or greater than a right angle is called an obtuse angle. A straight angle is formed by two rays pointing in exactly opposite directions. A straight angle is really just a straight line. Two angles that combine to form a right angle are called complementary angles. Two angles that combine to form a straight angle are called supplementary angles. In our next geometry video, we're going to learn more about angles and how to measure. Thanks for watching Math Antics, and I'll see you next time. Learn more. Now, when naming angles, there's a nice shortcut. this lesson, we're going to learn how our basic number system works. We're going to learn about an important concept called placing. The number system that we use in math is called base 10, because it uses 10 different symbols for counting. Math could use other systems that are based on a different number, like base 2 or base 8. They'll give you 10 guesses as to why the number 10 is such a popular choice. The 10 symbols that we use are called digits, and they look like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. At first glance, you might